What's going on, guys? Top Shelf Lads again, doing another tier list. This one's going to be super rapid. We're just going to do everybody's favorite set of Pokemon,
Hmm.
the Eeveelutions. And we're going to do one tier list for competitive play, and then one tier list for Nuzlocking play, which evolutions are the best for each scenario. Um,
And real quick, Sean,
but
how many
yeah,
how many evolutions are there?
there are, I mean, eight because I'm looking at them, but a nine including Eevee. I wish there
Hmm.
was more though. They should be honestly, Game Freak should be adding evolutions per like every generation that gets released. I'm
I
surprised they
agree.
don't. But like I wouldn't be opposed to a dragon type
That'd be sick.
evolution. Yeah. Um, but before we start, Michael, what is your favorite evolution?
Honestly, it's probably Jolteon.
Jolteon.
Yeah,
Wow, look at that thing. You're a fan of the spikes?
I like the spikes. I like
Oh,
the electricity.
yeah.
Second
Yeah.
second favorite would be Flareon though, because that
Oh,
just
wow.
yeah.
Okay. Um, dang. All right. My favorite is Umbreon, probably.
Mm. Fair, fair.
But if I actually had an evolution in real life, I'd want Vaporeon. Too sick.
Hmm.
Doesn't look
That
that
is,
good though, but I think it would have a lot of good utility in real life.
I'd
All
agree with
right.
that.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
which one are we
Flareon.
doing?
All right. So this one is competitive. So
Competitive.
competitive play. We'll just go from left to right. And then Eevee, we're going to start with. It has a couple good supporting moves,
Hmm.
like Helping Hand, and I'm pretty sure that's it. Maybe, what's it called? Um, the fairy move that lowers attack with priority. I
Oh
think of
yeah.
Baby Doll Eyes.
Hmm.
But aside from that, trash. So we're going to slap that in D tier. Vaporeon. Really good typing.
Hmm.
Can operate under Trick Room because it's slow. Pretty good bulk, especially on the special side. Pretty decent special attack. Uh, but other than that, it's not super impressive. It's not going to be a sweeper.
Hmm.
Not really great at supporting. So we're just gonna keep it in the mid tier for competitive play.
And real quick, Sean, before we
Mm-hmm.
continue, for anybody that aren't Pokemon masters like us, do you mind telling them what Trick Room is?
Oh, Trick Room, right. So Trick Room is dynamic. It's a move that can be used, which creates a alternative space in the battlefield, which allows slower Pokemon to move first. So
Hmm.
the slower the Pokemon is, the the quicker it moves. So then really fast Pokemon move last. So it's really good for like Vaporeon, Flareon. It's really bad for Espeon, really bad for Jolteon,
Hmm.
bad for Espeon, bad for Leafeon. Um,
That's good.
and it's good for pretty much the rest of them.
All right.
Uh, uh Jolteon, on the other hand, is actually pretty good because I mean, this is definitely a sweeper. It's super quick. You can
Hmm.
learn like Volt Switch, which is really useful to get like a switch in to something and then bring in a type that if you're predicting like a ground type move, you can Volt Switch first, bring in a different Mon that's either immune or resist ground type, like Leaf
Hmm.
Peon. Um,
And it can have Volt Absorb as its ability.
yes, it can have Volt Absorb, which is a very good ability. Uh, and it's like pretty good special attack. Its special defense is okay, and its
Hmm.
speed is fantastic. There's not many Pokemon that are going to be moving before this. Yeah, and you could terrestrialize it to a flying type, which is actually what people are doing, I think. Pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, there's people that are throwing Jolteons into teams, terrestrializing, giving it a flying type just for the ground immunity. Um, Leafeon, also very good. Not quite as good as Jolteon,
Hmm.
but I think grass types are in the current meta, I think grass types are really good just because of like Dondozos. You can slap Leaf Blade on this thing, high crit ratio, so you can bypass Dondo. You can throw like a what's it called? A scope lens Leaf
Hmm.
Blade. It's like a 1 in 4 chance of a crit to bypass Dondozo's stat boost. Um, and it's also extremely physical bulky with 130 physical defense, 110
Yeah.
physical attack. So even Dondozo is not going to one-shot this thing. Um, I mean, yeah, it's basically just like a bulkier version of Masquerada or whatever the frick that new Pokemon is called.
I
Forgetting it.
think you got it.
Yeah. Glaceon. Um,
Might as well keep your
unfor
Eevee unevolved.
uh, yeah, yeah. As far as Glaceon goes, yeah, you might as well just keep it an Eevee. But no, it's pretty bad. I'll be honest.
Hmm.
This is not great. Like, yeah, it's got good special attack, but it's got so many weaknesses. It's got
Yeah.
decent physical defense, okay, average special defense, but it's super slow. It's an ice type, so there's just like you just have so many weaknesses. And I mean, unless you're running a snow team, Glaceon's just
Hmm.
not really going to be useful. Uh,
Should we list off all the weaknesses?
Go ahead.
No, no. You go ahead.
Firefighting, steel, rock, and that might actually be it. It's just those 4 weaknesses. But
But that's still a lot for a
well,
competitive
also
mod.
you
Yeah.
think about like what's the most common attacking moves right now? Well, it's not rock, but steel, super common right now,
Hmm.
and fire is pretty common just because steel is so common. So a lot of people
Hmm.
are countering steel types with fire types, which Glaceon also does pour into. And then fighting types are also very common right now.
Yeah.
So that just makes Glaceon absolute trash right now for competitive. Um, Flareon. Now this Pokemon is extremely
Interesting.
interesting right now because like most people would have it probably here,
Hmm.
just in front of Glaceon. They'd probably rate it like that. But in truth, Flareon is actually S tier because one, it's typing. Fire is the second best defensive type in the game right now. Well,
Hmm.
maybe third. It's like equal. It's like tied for second with Fairy.
Gotcha.
Um, but the only difference between fire and fairy is fire can resist fairy, or well, it resists fairy and it resists steel, whereas fairy is uh is doesn't
Weak
like
to, yeah.
is weak to steel. So that makes Jolteon incredible.
Flareon.
And on top of or Flareon, sorry. And on top of that, this Pokemon has the Guts ability. So you
Hmm.
slap a Flame Orb on this thing or a Toxic Orb, oh my gosh, this thing does damage.
Oh yeah.
And yes, it's slow. That can be, I mean, sure, it's slow. But you get Trick Room up, get this thing in safely under Trick Room with a Toxic Orb, this thing's gonna sweep teams probably in
Hmm.
5 turns. And things like Goldango, not gonna do well into this. It's gonna one-shot Goldango anyways. Goldango won't even get to attack. The only thing this thing won't do well against into is Dondozo. But then you bring Leafeon in the back, or Jolteon even, but Jolteon's not as good as Leafeon for Dondozo. Yeah, so that's my Flareon theory in the current meta for Pokemon in Gen 9. Um,
That's
Espeon. Um, so like 2 or 3 generations ago, this would be up here.
mm-hmm.
But in the current generation, with all the dark types running around, and and Goldangos running around, like ghost types, ghost and dark types,
Mm-hmm.
this thing's not usable. It's probably below Vaporeon status. It's just not good. Its
Sad to see. Sad
ability
to see.
its ability is not great either. Both of its abilities, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I mean and also Psychic. Yeah, Psychic is just not a good type right now,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. And then Umbreon, sort of the same situation as Espeon, like it would be up here 2 generations ago, but they took Toxic away from it. And also in doubles, it's still better than Jolt and then Espeon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna throw it just in front of Vaporeon. I mean, it's debatable whether it's B or A, but it's super bulky. It has really good supporting moves.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously foul play is just super useful on its own because you can just foul play into like things like uh um what's it called? Uh the freaking primate of the ghost primate. Forgetting the name, stupid. How am I forgetting the name right now? What's the name of the mon?
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Uh, Annihilate?
Yeah, Annihilate. That's it.
A
Yeah,
weird
this
spelling.
you can just if you can move before Annihilate, which you can't, but and you'll
Mm-hmm.
probably get one shot by Annihilate, or maybe you won't get one shot by Annihilate. Because none of Annihilates are running like close combat. They're all running Rage Fist, so
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't one shot
Yeah.
Umbreon until it gets powered up.
But there'd be other Pokemon you'd want to take instead of Umbreon.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely well, for one, if you're taking a dark type, you want to take a strong dark type, or like this thing just has no offensive pressure. But inner focus is kind of nice.
True.
And then there's Sylveon, which is S tier. I mean, Hyper Voice, Fairy type, plus Stab, and the 1.3 times boost. So you're getting like 1.8 times Hyper Voices.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's super effective, you double that, and it's a spread move. So good. Um,
Would you say it's better than Flareon?
uh, I think on average, yeah, this thing will have more uses
Mm-hmm.
in more battles than Flareon will. But in some situations, uh,
Flareon
Flareon's
beats it
gonna
out
be
of you.
better. Pretty much into any team right now that is not Dandozo,
Mm-hmm.
a Trick Team Flareon or a Trick Room Flareon team is a better option than Sylveon.
Gotcha.
But into any Dondozo matchup, you'd wanna bring Sylveon instead of Flareon.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Sylveon's not even that good into Dondozo because this thing's physical, like physical defense is trash, but it's not gonna get one shot like Flareon will. All right, it
Right.
probably will get one shot, but yeah, it's all right. It's got some special bulk. It's got serious special offensive pressure, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean these things are just killer. I'm very surprised how people have not quite caught on to the Flareon meta yet. But yeah, that is
And
the Eeveelutions tier list for competitive Pokemon
yeah,
usage.
maybe you can bring it back in the next tourney you go to. Just show everybody the Flareon meta.
Nah, I don't do Pokemon tournaments anymore. It's too mainstream now. I'm more of a Gen 1 through 3 specialist.
Yeah, I remember the
Uh,
days, dude.
yeah. Um, all right. So next tier list, this is for Nuzlocke, right?
Just
So
casual play.
anytime you run into a to an Eevee and you think, which one should I take? Well, you definitely should not keep it as an Eevee. So there's that. And we will also throw a Glaceon right here. Definitely don't want a Glaceon. That those two remain the same. Um, Vaporeon, however,
That's a good mon.
it's a pretty good mon, but I don't think it's changed much. Although the one good thing about Vaporeon is it can learn Ice Beam,
Hmm.
so it's basically like a better version of Glaceon,
Right.
a better ice version of Glaceon. So for that reason, we'll put it in there, but it'll probably be the bottom of A two,
It
just because
also,
it's
for
not.
some reason, has a ridiculous amount of HP, I've learned.
Yeah, yeah, it's got
Which is good.
130 base HP stat, 110 base special attack stat. Jolteon is also going to be A tier because this thing is really good to lead with.
Hmm.
Bait ground moves, switch it out, really good if you've got a Thunderstone lying around and you don't want to deal with like friendship evolutions.
Hmm.
Uh Leafeon is also insanely good. I mean, this thing is fast. It can get it can be immune to statuses in the sun, or it can double its speed in the sun. It can also learn Sunny Day.
Hmm.
Um, and uh and its attack stat is insane. It can also learn things like dig. So you can deal with like fire types as long as you can move first. And poison types. Okay, Flareon. So after all that discussion, I just gave Flareon and competitive Pokemon. In Nuzlocke, Flareon's down here.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's probably tied with Glaceon. It's just so trash for Nuzlocke. It's super slow. You don't use Trick Room in Nuzlocke,
No, no.
and like it has no defensive stats. And yeah, like aside from learning Superpower and Flare Blitz, like it's I don't know. It's not that good. And Guts is not its ability in a Nuzlocke, which is also makes it trash. It
Hmm.
has Flash Fire in a Nuzlocke, which is
Not as
way
good.
less usable. Um, yeah. Uh, Actually, now that I think about it, I'm gonna throw Vaporeon down in the B tier because I don't think, and I think Leafeon is better than Jolteon. Yeah, I think this is probably better. Jolteon's just, or Vaporeon's just not quick enough. And like most of the Pokemon that are going to be in the S tier are either really quick and really good at sweeping, or really slow and really good at taking hits.
Hmm.
Which reminds me, Espeon, S tier.
Yeah, it's an S tier.
Literally, literally the number one Pokemon you want for a Nuzlocke. I mean, you just walk through everything. except for- you just one shot everything. And it's fast. It's usually going to move first. Um, and then if you walk into a ground or a ghost or a dark type, then you switch to either this one,
Hmm.
also really good. This one kind of sucks in the beginning. Like if you get an early Eevee and a Nuzlocke, Umbreon's not great in the
Yeah.
beginning. And it also kind of takes a while to get through battles because you gotta like set up like curse or double team if you have it, or like stupid strats, confuse ray, and like assurance. Um, but in the later game, this thing is so tanky, and once it learns Moonlight, I mean, this thing just doesn't go down, and then you can just tickle your opponents till they go down.
Mhm.
and you're still at full HP. I mean, it's a joke. This Pokemon is so good. Um,
So if we
uh,
were just for fun, where would you put early game Umbreon on the tier list?
Early game Umbreon,
Yeah.
I'd probably put
Me
it
too? Oh, yeah.
kind of like just behind Vaporeon, probably.
Hmm.
Still in front of these. It's still
Yeah.
better than these.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then late game S2.
just because like the bulk doesn't make it completely useless. You can still switch this into a lot of things. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing you can't is like really strong bug types and really strong fighting type moves, which only really exist in the later generations. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing like a Sun and Moon Nuzlocke or something. And then we have Sylveon, which arguably is because of its ability, Cutron. I'm gonna say Synchronize is also actually a pretty decent ability, I think.
Mm-hmm. And it
Um,
does not. Yeah.
yeah, in a Nuzlocke, because like a lot of people try to hit you with statuses, and it's kind of nice to hit them back with the same
Mm-hmm.
status, as long as it's not like sleeping or something. Um, but Sylveon, nah, Sylveon's still probably better than Umbreon because you can learn Calm Mind on Sylveon if you're playing with setup moves, which in
Kind of nuts. Yeah.
most Nuzlocks nowadays, I think people are trying to not use setup moves because they're just broken. It's way too easy. Like I'm so sick of watching Nuzlockers just use setups to win a Nuzlocke. And it's like, well, obviously, dude. Obviously you can beat the Nuzlocke. Um, but yeah, I still think Espeon's number one,
Mm-hmm.
Sylveon's probably number two, and then Umbreon's number three, just because of the bulk. And then Leafeon's still really good in a lot of cases. Jolteon's obviously really good. And then you've got the slow ones that aren't bulky. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Vaporeon's got some bulk and it's a good type,
And that's why it's
but it's
above the other three.
yeah, it's not as bulky
Mm-hmm.
as this one. And on the special
Yeah.
side, it's not nearly as bulky as this one.
Yeah.
This one has a 130 special defense stat, 95 HP. This has got 130 defense stat. This has got 130 special defense stat, 110 defense stat.
Ridiculous.
Uh, and then, well, this isn't tanky at all, but it doesn't matter when you have a 110 speed stat and a 130 special attack stat.
Or you just wipe it.
Yeah, and there's only like two things that resist psychic, one of them being psychic. And also, this thing does really well in the psychic types because it can learn Shadow Ball. And it can just
Mm-hmm.
one-shot psychic types too. Um, so yeah, that's the Nuzlocke Eeveelutions tier list. And just to go back, here's the current competitive Eeveelutions tier list. And I guess the winner of the combined Eeveelutions tier list is, to nobody's surprise, I'm sure, Sylveon
Yeah.
takes the clear lead. But this right here is probably what people are most surprised about.
Yeah.
But
That's a
this thing is
surprise top shelf pick
dude,
right there.
yeah, this thing is so good in current competitive meta. Just wait, people will figure it out here pretty soon. Like a guts fire type. There's no guts fire types in existence right now, except for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um uh and yeah, I guess in second place is probably it's tied between Leafeon and Jolteon.
Yeah.
And then Umbreon in third place. Or maybe Espeon, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, Sylveon wins. I don't know if that
Probably no
uh,
surprise to anybody.
yeah, my favorite one didn't win. And your favorite one didn't win.
At least my favorite one is solidly in the A tier. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Jolteon could power your whole house. You don't have to pay for electricity. You could just get off the grid, dude.
All right.
All right. Well, that's the Eeveelutions tier list, everybody. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Peace.